All right, let's talk about one of those critical DevOps interview questions. The one that can really separate a good candidate from a great one. We're going to break it down so you can absolutely ace it. So just imagine it for a second. You're in the final round. You've made it past HR, you've impressed the hiring manager, and now you're sitting across from a senior engineer. The pressure's on, and they lean forward with a question that's really designed to see if you've been in the trenches. And there it is. Now, this question, it's not about reciting a command from memory. It's about your entire philosophy. How do you build pipelines that are reliable, reproducible, and maybe most importantly, resilient? So how do you nail this answer? Well, stick with me. We're going to build the perfect response together, piece by piece. First things first, your answer has to start with the fundamentals. And the absolute foundation of any rock-solid CI/CD strategy is making sure every single run begins from a clean, predictable state. The core principle here is just non-negotiable. You have to start with a clean slate every single time. I mean, think about it. If you don't, you're just asking for trouble. You get these leftover files from a previous build, old dependencies, weird artifacts, and suddenly you're debugging failures that make absolutely no sense. A clean workspace is all about consistency. And why does this matter so much? Well, a few big reasons. First, you guarantee that today's build isn't being messed up by yesterday's problems. This is huge for build reproducibility, a must-have in any professional shop. And hey, as a nice little bonus, it keeps your build agents from getting clogged up with junk over time. And the best part, Jenkins makes this ridiculously easy to do. Whether you're a fan of the structured, declarative syntax, or you prefer the more free-form scripted style, the clean WS step is your best friend. In declarative, you can pop it into its own stage. In scripted, you can just call it right at the top. It's such an easy win for pipeline hygiene. Okay, so starting clean is step one, but we all know things are going to go wrong eventually, right? That brings us to the second part of your answer, your safety net, a really smart strategy for handling pipeline failures. And this, right here, this is what separates a junior-level pipeline from a pro-level one. A truly fault-tolerant pipeline isn't about never failing. It's about failing smart. It has to be observable, so you actually know what broke. It should be recoverable, if it's just a temporary glitch. And above all, it's got to be graceful. It should clean up after itself and tell the right people what happened without setting off a 5-alarm fire. So, how do we do this? Well, Jenkins gives us two main tools for the job. In scripted pipelines, you've got the classic try-catch block from programming, which gives you really fine-grained control. But in the more modern declarative style, you have the post block, which is fantastic. It's a structured way to define actions based on the final outcome of your pipeline. Let's break down this post block, because it is incredibly powerful. You can define specific actions for different results. The success block, that runs only when everything worked perfectly. The failure block is your go-to for cleanup and sending notifications when things break. And then there's the always block, which is perfect for stuff you need to do no matter what, like grabbing log files for later. All right, you've covered the fundamentals of cleaning and failing gracefully. Now, if you really want to impress your interviewer, let's get into the advanced tactics. This is how you show you don't just solve problems, you actually anticipate them. Look, when a build breaks, the absolute worst thing that can happen is silence. The faster your team knows about a failure, the faster they can jump on it. So integrating automated notifications is a total must. Whether it's a quick message to a Slack channel, an email, or even a PagerDuty alert for something super critical, that immediate feedback is key. And you know what's great? It's so easy to set up. Right inside that failure block we were just talking about, you can add a simple step like Slack send. This one line of code can instantly tell the team exactly which job failed, which cuts down the time to fix it, like a ton. Now, it's also super important to remember that not all failures are created equal. Some are permanent, like a bug in the code. But a lot of failures are transient. A quick network blip, a package repository that's down for 30 seconds. For those kinds of errors, failing the whole build right away is just inefficient. And that's where the retry step is an absolute game changer. By just wrapping a flaky step in retry 3, you're basically telling Jenkins, hey, try this. If it doesn't work, don't panic. Just try it a couple more times before you give up. This one simple wrapper can make your pipelines so much more stable by automatically weathering those little storms. Okay, here's a pro-level move for you. Sometimes a step might fail, but it's not a total disaster. Maybe a few non-critical tests flake out. You definitely want to know about it, but you don't necessarily want to stop the whole show. The catch error step lets you do just that.
You can catch an error and mark the build as unstable instead of a hard failure, giving your team valuable feedback without blocking everything.
So we've walked through the clean foundation, the smart safety net, and those killer advanced tactics. Now let's roll all of that up into one powerful, confident statement you can take right into that interview.
So when they ask that question, you can look them in the eye and say something like this. In my pipelines, I always start by ensuring the workspace is pristine using Clean WS to prevent issues from old builds. For failure handling, I use a layered approach, post blocks in declarative or try catch in scripted as the foundation. On top of that, I integrate automated notifications for immediate feedback, use the retry step for transient network issues, and catch error to handle non-critical failures gracefully. This whole strategy makes sure our builds are reproducible, failures are handled cleanly, and the team always knows what's going on.
And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? In the real world, perfection is impossible. Things are going to break. The goal isn't to build a pipeline that never ever fails. The goal is to build one that fails in a controlled, predictable, and informative way. That's the mark of a true professional. So as you get ready for that next big interview, don't just think about how you build for success. Think about how you build for failure. Because a pipeline designed to fail well is a pipeline that is truly built to last. So, what are you going to go build to fail better? Thanks for joining me.